Okay everyone, welcome back to the Actual Vision weekly time trial event on Project Cars 2. This week we're driving the Ginetta Gt4 around Oulton Park Island track. A really enjoyable combination, a tricky car to drive. Obviously this car has no assist, so you don't get them available within time trial. There will be some benefits if you've got some load cell pedals, I think, for this week's time trial. I haven't got load cell pedals. As you can see, it is really easy to lock up this car. I think with load cell pedals it'll be a lot easier to get that point of where the lockups will hit. But we worked on the setup from total scratch. There was no real setups to really take as a base and work from that, so I had to do the setup by myself from scratch and started to learn a few more things about the setup and stuff in the game. And I think I've made some fairly good progress within such a short time, so hopefully I can start doing my setups now completely. I probably will avoid a lot of the base setups and just do them from base myself, because I feel like I got quite good results with this setup and got it to a reasonably good lap. What I'll do anyway is I'll let you guys watch the lap at full speed, and then we'll go back through the lap slowing it down, pointing out some reference points and stuff, and then we'll work our way through the setup and give you some tips on the setup, etc. So anyway guys, enjoy the lap and we'll be back very soon. Okay, as you can see there, it was a reasonably good lap, a 1:23.4 I think the lap time at that point was, but we did have issues with the night that we wanted to improve it a bit more, where our pedals broke, the brake stop broke, and it took me about 3 hours to fix them. So we missed out on tweaking the setup slightly and getting the lap a bit faster, but I'm sure you guys will be able to do that now with a few areas where I point out I lost a little bit of time. So going into turn 1, we're going to use that WMD board as a reference point where we lift off, try and coast through the corner more than braking hard. Staying in third, getting hard on the power and use as much of that track any wider than what I did there, and you will get a track invalidated lap. You really do need to hit that sweet spot. Then going down into this left-hander, as you come out of that right hander, you're going to slowly lift down into third gear and again let it coast. We took a bit too much speed in there. You see us seeing a little bit of understeer, but we managed to get the power and drag the car back online a little bit, but we lost a bit of time, as you can see from the ghost. That corner could have been done quite a bit better. Then going into the next braking point, you're using that turning sign, the right turning sign as a reference point, braking a little bit short of that. You can see we braked about maybe 20 yards short of it. Down into first gear, really do need to trail brake into this corner. If you just slam them brakes on, you're going to do a massive lockup and just go straight on. So do be aware you need to trail brake all the way through that corner and get on the power as early as possible coming out of that corner. We didn't nail that as much as I would have liked again. Then we're going to look for that blue board on the right. It's a braking reference down into third gear, then into second gear. Try and skim that curb on the right hand tyre so you can then instantly swing the car back over to the left. You really do need to get as close to that bollard as possible on the left. Then try and stay on the power as much as you can going through this right hander. I had to give it a little lift, you saw then, but you can get away with doing that flat out all the way through the corner. I did do it a couple of times, and it does gain you quite a lot of time up this hill now. Then we're going to approach the really fast right-hander, get the car over to the left-hand side, down into third gear, and try and chuck it in and get on the power really early. You'll see there, we're back on the power already, trying to get the power to bring some momentum around the corner and really give us a nice pull out of the corner. Again, we did that okay, but not as well as I've done it on a couple of other goes. I just didn't manage to get the whole lap together. This was the best I'd got up to the point my pedals broke. Then braking just past that right turning board, down into second gear, again trail brake into the corner, and just be very cautious not to put too much power down and control the rear end as you come out of that corner. You can see me on the steering wheel fighting the rear a bit, hard on the power down, over the line on a 1 minute 23.4. So it was a reasonably good lap. I think there's more potential in that lap. I think it will be possible to get this into a 1 minute 22 if you push it a little bit harder. Obviously my pedal's broken, I couldn't really push it as hard as I would have liked, but I had to get this video out and ready and done. We did do quite a lot of work on the setup from scratch. We lowered the brake pressures very slightly on the front and the rear. Brake pressures, now you do need to lower them brake pressures all the way down to at least 75, I found. If you are running load cell pedals, you may not need to go down that much. It just depends on the pedals you're running, but for my T3PA Pro pedals I needed to go quite low. Front bias, because with a little bit of rear on the bias, if you brake and then you lock up, you'll just kick the rear end out. We had the brake vents on 20 to 15. You probably could go lower than that to give yourself a bit more speed down the straights, but I just found if I wanted to do an extra lap, it just kept the brakes in a bit better temperature having it on that. The rear downforce, we had it on 5. We did try 6. 6 was more stable, however it was causing a bit of understeer where I didn't want it. We put the weight slightly to the rear as well. This is just going to help give us a bit more balance through the corners, helps you get on the power a little bit earlier. We moved the caster angles down slightly as well to try and create a more stable car. Cambers were reduced slightly again to try and just to give a bit more speed down some of the straight sections. We adjusted the steering ratio again to try and give us a little bit more not so sensitive steering wheel when we were going through the corners. We added a bit more toe to the rear to support the rear as well, so we could get on the power a little bit earlier. It really seemed to help that. Ride height as well, we lowered the rear down again to support that rear end coming out of some of the slow corners. Now the bump stops, we lowered the rear again more so than the front to again just to create more stability at the rear of the car, especially when getting on the power coming out of some of them slow corners. You can't change everything on this car, it's pretty limited with what you can change there. We slightly changed the slow bump as well. Now with regards to the fuel, obviously 1 lap, that's because we're in time trial. But radiator, if you're going to do a qualifying run, just bear that in mind, you will need to go up to 15 to 20% if you're going to use this setup for like a qualifying session where all your failures and everything is on. But in terms of time trial, doing 1 lap, that's fine. Engine braking on 1, we wanted quite a lot of support in the braking when going into some of the corners, so that's using a lot of engine braking there. It kind of gives a trail braking effect when you're braking into the corners, but you still do need to trail brake with this car. And the reason you've got it on 1, this car has no ABS, so you do need a lot of support with this car in the braking zones. With regards, we did try the General LSD on and mess with it, but I ended up turning it off, so just ignore the bias ratios there. With regards to the clutches, I left that on the default of 6. However, the power ramp, we had that on 60 and the coast on 45. The coast down on 45 is going to create a more stable car. If you want it even more stable going into the corners, but it does tend to create a little bit of a sense of understeer, you can go lower to maybe 35 or 40, but I preferred it on 45 and then up in the power ramp to 60, which give us the ability to turn through the corners when getting the power down. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this base setup. I will be trying to do more of these setups now from total scratch myself, as I've got a lot more understanding of the setups now. Some things have been swapped around from Project Cars 1, and I obviously with just doing taking the base setups off of people, I was only really altering the stuff I needed to, but now starting to get more into these setups and working a lot more out with them, starting to really understand how you can get stuff working on Project Cars 2. Obviously I haven't put as much time into this game as a lot of other people, but I'm starting to really get into it now, so hopefully we can start pushing these setups to some really nice stable setups. I feel this is okay, I feel there's more work to be done on this setup, but I feel as a base setup I think you guys are going to enjoy it and be able to push the car around for this time trial. Just be very cautious through that corner that's just on screen there. You really do need to be cautious going into that corner. Your tyres lock up, you've got to get the car from one side to the other side. That's why we've slightly adjusted the rebound settings I think there, just to try and keep the car a little bit more stable when we're flinging it in. Just bear that in mind, rebound settings will do that on the the suspension. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you want to take part, check out the links within the description. I'll be posting the links for Actualvision's different Twitch channels and Discord channel where you can take part within the time trial. And I'll be back more with another one of these time trial videos next week, and more Project Cars setups on the channel throughout the week. Thanks again for watching, and we'll be back very soon.